Don't stay stuck. We all get stuck. We've all had moments in our life or periods in our life where we feel like we're stuck, whether it's with our business, with a relationship, with something that's going on financially. But don't stay there. Don't stay stuck. Sometimes people tell me, but all the things that I need to do to get out of this is so hard that it will be it's such a big effort. It's such a huge ordeal. Well, let me tell you something very important. Getting out of the situation you're in is hard. But staying in the situation you're in is way harder. You do not want that. You don't want to look 5 years from now and go, oh, I'm still in the same place. I'm still stuck in the exact same situation I was. It's time to do something about it. And we're going to talk about what that means. Some of these items will be mental and some of them are action. Number 1, let go of the past. Listen to the stories in your head and the ones that are damaging you, the ones that are lies, which most of the ones that are in fact, probably all of the ones that are damaging you are lies. Your brain tells you stories all the time that are not true. So figure out which stories you're telling yourself and learn to let those go. The ones that are telling you the stories about who you are or what you deserve and all the things that are keeping you stuck. Number 2, change your perspective. And you can do this. Once upon a time, there were 6 blind men. They lived in a town in India, and they thought they were very clever. One day, an elephant came into the town, and the blind men did not know what an elephant looked like, but they could smell it, they could hear it, and they thought, what is this animal like? Each man touched a different part of the elephant. The first man touched the elephant's body. It felt hard and big and wide. An elephant is like a wall, he said. The second man touched one of the elephant's tusks. It felt smooth and hard and sharp. An elephant is like a spear, he said. The third man touched the elephant's trunk. It felt long and thin and wiggly. An elephant is like a snake, he said. The fourth man touched one of the legs. It felt thick and rough and hard and round. An elephant is like a tree, he said. The fifth man touched one of the elephant's ears. It felt thin and it moved back and forth. An elephant is like a fan, he said. The sixth man touched the elephant's tail. It felt long and thin and strong. An elephant is like a rope, he said. And the men kept arguing. It's like a wall. No, it isn't. It's like a spear. No, it isn't. It's like a snake. None of them could agree. And guess what? They were all correct and they were all wrong. So I promise you, there are things in your life right now. It might be in a relationship. It might be the way you're running your business. It might be something that's happening in your family. You have a perspective that you think is right. But I promise there's a bigger picture. And if you will work on finding out what that looks like, curiosity is the key. Start asking questions. Start finding out what other people think, what they feel, and don't get defensive about it. Start learning these things and it will help you find a different perspective. Number 3, start with small changes, but take action. If the thing you're trying to do, you keep failing at it, break it down into smaller steps. I will tell you every time when someone is willing and trying, if they're not able to succeed, it's because they have not broken it down into small enough steps. If you broke a peanut butter and jelly sandwich down into 10 different steps, I could promise you that every one of those steps you would be easily able to do. The problem is we take the big picture and we keep trying to do the big item instead of taking one piece at a time. Number 4, figure out your purpose. This trended for a long time and then it stopped trending, so everyone acted like it's not important and oh, that's so yesterday. No, it isn't. You have got to figure out your purpose. You have to know what it is that you want to contribute, what you are meant to contribute. You will find it, but don't give up. Number 5, believe in yourself. You need to practice being hopeful. How do those two go together? Because when you don't believe in yourself, you don't have hope because you don't believe it's possible. But when you practice having hope, guess what happens? All of a sudden, you start seeing possibilities, which only can come if you are worth the possibility. So when you have hope, it changes the way you feel about yourself. It changes your belief in yourself. Number 6, incorporate gratitude. I have never seen someone who is truly grateful who has not created success. If they're focusing on success in relationships, they create success in their relationships. If they're focusing on success in their financial life, they create success in their financial life. It doesn't matter what area they're trying to improve. You may be focused on your business, and that might be the thing that you're really trying to improve. My hope for you is that you're working on your health, your wealth, and your relationships. Those are the 3 things I focus on because I want you to be well-rounded. I want you to have happiness in all the different aspects of your life. And when you incorporate gratitude and you are grateful, you start to notice the positive things instead of noticing the negative. Instead of dwelling on the things that you don't like about a person or a business or a situation or a partnership, you start to notice the things that you do, and you start to notice the good things that are coming from that. One time I had decided I am really going to focus on getting healthy and losing weight. And so I decided what that perfect goal would be. And I already looked fine, but I really wanted to tone my muscles. I really wanted to increase my stretching ability. I wanted to get a little bit thinner and reduce some of the fat. And so that I had these different goals. And I was doing a great job. And when I decide to do something and I'm really determined, I do it. So I was doing great and I looked amazing. I looked great. My body looked great. I was healthy. But guess what? I kept nitpicking at all the little things that weren't exactly perfect. Okay, just a little bit here, a little bit there. And I became so focused, I didn't even realize it started to change me. And one day I remember I went to the temple in my church. We have temples. We go to the temple and we serve in the temple and do work there. And I went to the temple and I was sitting in a session where I was learning some things about Jesus Christ, and it was just it's just a beautiful place to learn. So I was sitting there, and in my same session, there were other people sitting in the rows, and in my same session was a man in a wheelchair, and he couldn't even breathe on his own. He had to have the tube down his mouth, and his machine was really noisy, which that was fine. It didn't bother me, but you would always notice it. It's not like it was so quiet that you just stopped focusing on it. And so I'm sitting in the session and learning and feeling the spirit, and I'm listening to this machine. And about every 10 or 15 minutes, if I remember correctly, they had to stop the session because the breathing machine would stop. They had to switch the tube to the other side so that they could make sure that he was breathing. And he was a quadriplegic. He could not move from the chair. And as I sat there watching him, I remember having such a powerful realization of how ungrateful I was being about my body. Because it wasn't just that I was trying to improve. That's a good thing. But I was so focused that every little thing wasn't enough. It wasn't good enough. And I was excited about my goal, but it was very humbling watching this man, realizing that he was coming, he was serving other people, and he had a body that sure didn't work very well. But I'll tell you what, they told me that he came to the temple every single day. And the first time you go through the temple, you go through for yourself. But every time after that, you're going there to help someone else. So he went every day, and he can't breathe on his own. He had so many challenges, and it taught me something very powerful about being more grateful. Number 7 is develop new skills. There are skills that you don't know, and sometimes there are skills you don't know. The more you gain new skills, the more you have a tool belt that allows you to take action in areas that you didn't even realize. I'll tell you what, as I was growing my business, I'd get to a point where I had 100,000 customers. And then I'd hit a ceiling, and it seemed like I couldn't grow from there. And then I would get past that. I would learn some things. I'd learn some new skills. I'd change some things in my business and I'd learn how to train better or whatever it was. I would start to solve the problems and then I'd be able to grow from there. And then I'd hit a new benchmark and it seemed like I'd plateau. And I started to realize every time that would happen, it was because I needed to learn. I didn't have the skills and ability, and I hadn't become the person yet who could handle the growth to the next level. So that happened over and over and over again. And I'll tell you, sometimes it's very painful when you learn things, you recognize things about you that need to change, and you kind of are forced to look in a mirror and see yourself for who you really are. And you're trying to be a good person, you're trying to be a good leader, you're trying to be a good boss, but then you discover things that are embarrassing and you feel guilty. And guilt is a good thing. Shame is a bad thing. Guilt is a good thing because guilt is because you recognize, at least if it's appropriate guilt. Some people feel so unworthy that they feel guilty for things that they didn't do. But appropriate guilt is when it's something that you did do, something that you need to grow, you need to change. Maybe you hurt people. Maybe you aren't helping people. Like as a boss, I want to inspire people. I want to help people reach their dreams and aspire to something better. And there have been times when I haven't done that. I have hurt people's feelings, or because I'm so driven, or because I didn't have the skill, I didn't understand what I didn't know. And until I tried to grow, whether it's my business or a relationship or financially, whatever, you start to learn things that empower you. And now that business has grown to millions of customers all over the world in over 60 countries around the world. And I have other businesses and other significant investments because of what I've learned and how I've grown. And has it stopped? Do I know it all? No. Guess what? I still get to have those experiences. But I'll tell you what, my comfort zone has grown so big that situations that were hard or were painful for me in the past, they're not even painful. It's not even a big deal. It's bigger things and larger growth items that are painful for me. But now it's more exciting because I know what it's doing. I know that the next plateau I hit, guess what? I'm stuck because I need to grow. I need to gain skills. I need to learn. So that's number 7. Number 8, challenge negative thought patterns. This kind of goes along with the storytelling, but a negative thought pattern is a little bit different. For example, I'll give you mine. By the time that we're done together, you guys will know all of my bad habits. So what I do is when I have pain or something that is an emotion that's uncomfortable for me, I go straight to anger or irritation. I'm like, seriously? That's where I go. But what I'm doing is I'm avoiding that I feel hurt, that I feel bad that I didn't leave in time and now this car is in my way. So you see what I'm saying? So I go straight to that. So that's what I've been working on lately really hard, is when I start to get irritated or mad, then I already know what I'm doing. So I try to catch myself as fast as I can and go, okay, this is a pattern that I do. And it's not because I'm really mad. It's because I feel bad that I didn't leave on time. Or I feel stupid because of what happened in the situation or what someone said about me. Or I feel hurt because someone did something or because something happened. I feel hurt. But instead of just feeling hurt and realizing, wow, this feels awful, I don't like this. Instead, I jump to, excuse me, they shouldn't do that to me, blah, 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 whatever. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to challenge your negative thought pattern, start to notice. Number 9, consider talking to a mentor. This can be a therapist, this can be a coach, it can be whatever, but it's got to be somebody who can connect with you in a way that helps you change. I have friends who've been going to the therapist for a long time and they still struggle with the exact same things they've been struggling with for 10 years. And I've seen other people who start to make changes a little at a time, and they are different. You see that they are different. And I'll tell you, I have mentors. I will never be without a mentor. And I'll tell you, health, wealth, and relationships, these are categories that I will not live without. I always have goals that I'm working on with my weight and my physical body to try to be healthy and eat better or exercise. I always have business mentors that are helping me create more wealth and financial stability, help my business to grow, help me know how to meet the needs of the people I'm trying to serve in my businesses. And we have a mentor who is a therapist because he helps us. And I have a mentor who is a therapist. My husband and I go to him and he works with us. He teaches us skills. He helps us to grow. I always want my relationship to grow. I always want my relationship with my friends, with my family to get better and grow. And that's what a therapist does. But you have to find somebody who you trust. Just like any doctor. You go to a doctor that you don't like, find one that you like. Keep going until you find the one that fits you. And number 10, give yourself a break. You do amazing things. If I could take you and sit you down, and if I had you make a list of every single thing that you accomplished just today, it might be that you listened to someone. It might be that you took something to a friend. It might be that you got an area of the house clean. It might be that you started a new partnership. It might be that you created an opportunity in your business. It doesn't matter what it is. It might be that you had a conversation with your child. You achieved a lot today, even if it was a lazy day for you. And I am telling you, we are too hard on ourselves. Take it easy. Give yourself a break. And when it feels hard, I want you to remember one thing. Getting out of the situation you're in is hard, but staying in the situation you're in is way harder. You do not want that. All right, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, I love you guys, and I don't want you to just think different. I want you to be different.